Right there, geezers, Jules here from FGS, home of the Future Game Show. And as we proved fairly recently with Libra from Elden Ring Night Rain, a good boss battle can become a true focal point for a fan base to point at a title and say, this is why I played this game. And I, for one, absolutely love a climactic clash with oversized bad lads in my games. So it got me thinking, which are the best boss battles in recent memory? And then, after that list had formulated in my mind like code from the Matrix, a little gremlin that I call my desire to be that guy arrived on my shoulder to whisper to me, but what if we made a video game on amazing boss battles that are such deep cuts that barely anyone in the audience is likely to have played them? And in that moment, a pact was made between man, egg, and gremlin, and I maniacally laughed myself to sleep, as I always do. But now I have returned with a slew of games that not only might have slipped you by, but now you'll be kicking yourself for missing because they contain some bloody amazing boss battles. So let's have a chat, as I'm Jules, this is FGS, and these are amazing recent boss battles you've not beaten yet. Also, spoilers for the following games here, because some of these are final boss encounters. You have been warned. Number 8, Glaciered the Sun, AI Limit. Now, in the sea of Souls-like clones that hit the market every single bloody waking moment, it can be very hard to stand out from the pack. After all, there's only so many times that we as players can hear challenging combat or brutal difficulty before rolling our eyes so much that it disconnects our retinas. And while AI Limit feels like it never really broke through the surface, it did have a few decent boss battles that made me want to chuck this game an inflatable life raft. So let's talk about the Nameless King, Glaciered the Sun, a late game boss from AI Limit that has cribbed more than a fair few notes from Software's powerhouse of a Dark Souls 3 boss battle, which on first glance seems to have simply just subbed out the word dragon for anime boobies. And yet, once the battle kicks off, this is by far one of the tightest fights in the game, offering up a punishing boss battle that requires precise dodging and blocking in order to overcome. Now, in AI Limit, there's a system called sync rate, which sits just underneath your health bar. Now, as this meter rises, your damage output and your defenses also increase, and you'll want to be on your game in order to push these stats up, because if not, well, 1 or 2 attacks from Glaciered over here will end your run entirely. She's quick, she can pepper you with lightning arrows if you look to step away from the fight, and in phase 2 she gains a giant mechanical fist that can sneak through extra attacks, all the while increasing her own sync rate. In short, this is a boss that you have to engage with in close quarters and exploit all of the parries and counters that you can, making this a refreshing test of timing, skill, and patience, which arguably a lot of the other bosses in AI Limit fail to truly capitalize on. Number 7, the Queen of Keys, Reignbreaker. Now, if you're looking to add more regicide to your Hades experience, then Reignbreaker may just well be the game for you, as this tells the story of Cleft, a rebel who, unlike James Dean, is with a cause because she wants to break the rule of oppression that hangs over her kingdom, and does all of her protesting very violently indeed, and through some steampunk and magic-infused weapons. This is a visual and adrenaline overdose with a vibrant colour palette, bullet hell levels of projectiles to dodge and weave around, and a wonderfully in-your-face presentation that screams of confidence in its execution. Yet it's likely going to be you heading to the gallows again and again come the end of this game, because the Queen of Keys, the final boss in Reignbreaker, is a kaleidoscope of pain, yet is so well implemented you'll be eager to jump back into the fray once more. Acting as the final test for all of your skills, the Queen will ask the player not only to manage several escalating stages of difficulty, with the Queen swapping out skills and loadouts on the fly, but also waves of low-level grunts, attacks that change the shape of the arena by covering them in flames, explosions that obscure your vision, and of course, lasers that you have to dodge through or get cut down by. It may only be a short fight when played at 100% efficiency, but my god is the learning curve steep here. Thankfully, the rush of finally putting down the Queen is more than enough reason to pick up this game and start bringing down the monarchy. Number 6, Fang Executioner, Mandragora. Now, to be clear, my friends, you should not need any extra reasons to play Mandragora, because this recently released entry into the Metroidvania genre is a wonderful fusion of Lovecraftian horror and piano-tight wire gameplay. That being said, a good boss battle sure doesn't hurt either, and you don't get much better here than the Fang Executioner, a towering werewolf with a rather nasty habit of spilling blood and then using said blood to form clones of themselves. Gross, but also pretty metal as f***, right? Now, it's these clones that really ramp up the challenge of this fight, as now after the Fang Executioner attacks a few seconds later, his blood echo will do the same, meaning that the window for counterattacks and the amount of projectiles now coming at you has both halved and doubled at the same time. It is a boss that will certainly make you question your character builds, as his high defenses and speed plus those literally bloody clones will punish those unable to break through the damage ceiling. And it's not a fight that you can win just through attrition, so practice those dodges, hire a fortune teller to offer you some form of precognition for the Executioner's coming attacks, and while you're at it, try praying. I mean, hell, it might actually do something, and in this battle, we'll take everything we can get. Number 5, Alpha Guadu, Glaciered. Now, I won't lie to you, friends. I am cheating a little bit with this next entry because the underwater Dark Souls adjacent title Glaciered isn't actually out yet at present and only exists in a demo state which you can try for yourself right now. But since it's planned to launch in Q3 of this year, I'm including it in this video. Plus, trust me, you will love what is going on here. Well, you'll love everything except the absolutely terrifying final boss of the demo experience, the Alpha Guadu, or Guadu, however you want to pronounce it. We're just going to call the Great White Great because trust me, this thing will hunt and haunt your dreams. For those with a fear of the ocean depths, this will do nothing to assuage those fears of stepping back into the water anytime soon, because its attacks hit like a truck and its size absolutely dwarfs your strange penguin laser bird hybrid. Now, to be clear, it's not the most difficult boss in the world, but in terms of tone, presentation, and sheer intimidation factor, this alpha really is top billing. In fact, this alpha scares me more than the alphas in 28 Years Later, the big floppy zombie wangs. What a strange film that was. Plus, it just goes to show you that you don't need Mariana Trench levels of health pools and attacks that require you to be psychic in order to make a good boss battle. Sometimes you just need a bloody massive shark with more teeth than I've had hot meals. Yeah. Number 4, the diver, Tankhead. If you ever thought to yourself that Shadow of the Colossus didn't have enough tanks and robots in it, then don't worry, you strange little head, because Tankhead has got you covered. Now, while for the most part the enemies that you come up against in this game are an amalgamation of robotic limbs and enough guns to make Neon from the Matrix go, whoa, there's one boss that is front-loaded into the early game experience that is so jaw-dropping that it basically carries the entire game like a multi-story hub block that it features on its back. This is the Diver, a huge mechanical beast that wields a mighty arsenal of turrets and rocket pods, but also apparently doubles up as a mobile Airbnb spot thanks to the huge living quarters that rest on its back. The battle is fraught with tension as you speed around the arena trying to avoid the masses of rockets that are hurtling towards you, which is made all the more terrifying by that weird, strange painted on eye the Diver features. Get it away. Just stop looking at me, mate. Stop looking at me. Gross. It's not the most challenging boss in the game by a long shot, but the sheer spectacle of this mechanical wonder/horror certainly leaves a mark, and will have you longing for more battles like this once it's over. Now, thanks to its rather weird combination of tank shooter, monster hunter, and survival/scavenger mode, plus its insistence on remaining an Epic Games exclusive, not that many people have been able to wrap their gums around Tankhead's absolutely wild ride. Yet make no mistake, there's a few truly memorable moments to be found in this game. Number 3, Yatsu Kahagi in Kunitsu-Gami Path of the Goddess. Now, I cannot express how much I absolutely am in love with Path of the Goddess. It's a really well-made game, and it's absolutely bizarre to see this title pass so many by, especially when publishing giant Capcom was behind it all. But to keep it brief, this is a game that dials in 100% on ancient Japanese folklore and brings the beasts and creatures of legend to life in genuinely disturbing detail. Distended bellies, huge gaping gaping jaws full of blunt teeth and skin that is mottled with deathly hues of green and purple, every single enemy in this game is a nightmare come to life. Now thankfully you're not alone in your battles against these demons and can actually summon in NPC allies who comprise of villagers with special talents to aid you. Now the game then becomes one of using these NPCs to exploit weaknesses for you to then dive in and unleash massive amounts of damage. And you're going to need all of those tactical skills at hand when it comes to facing Yatsu-Kahagi, because this monster is both a damage sponge, is able to flood the field with enemies, and most annoyingly of all, sings slightly out of tune while doing all of this, so it sounds kind of like they're messing with you. The real spike of this battle comes with Yatsu-Kahagi's ability to pull out teleportation gates, which will bring mobs of enemies to the field. And when your goal is to not just give this many-digited enemy the middle finger, but also protect your priestess pal who will purify the area, well, it means that you have to dive out of the fight in order to get them off her back. What this all boils down to is careful villager management, being super responsive to teleportation attacks and placing traps of your own to slow the beast down in order to land a few hits. It's a battle of brutality and strategy and a perfect encapsulation of this game's best features. Number 2, all of the bosses, one-button bosses. Now it might seem like I'm cheating to put all of the bosses of a game into a single entry, but honestly the battles of one-button bosses really are that charming and that fun that it really does feel unfair to leave any of them out. Now this game, as you might have guessed from its title, is one that focuses on boss rush battling, but limits your dodging, attacking and all manner of other abilities to just one button. It's kind of like when Peter Molyneux said that all of Fable 2's combat would be on one button, but here it's good and not a lie? Each of the bosses presents a fun new twist on the one-button formula, and come the end of the experience, becomes utter bullet-hell challenges that will leave you only a fraction of space to hide in. Now for those thinking that a single button wouldn't be able to provide the depth and challenge presented in other, more fleshed-out experiences, well, you're dead wrong, as some of these fights will push you to your limit and way beyond. Plus the soundtrack is so entrancingly well executed that you'll be nodding along until your neck begins to ache. This is the perfect expression of a well-designed boss battle, just multiplied like 20 times. Give this game a go, it is that good. And number 1, Lux from Blade Chimera. And so we close on a game that I am astounded didn't get more traction with mainstream audiences, as the style, the delivery of its gameplay, and everything else is just so polished that you can see yourself in the bloody reflection. Blade Chimera is basically what would happen if Castlevania was crossed with Cyberpunk, offering up intense platforming, mild puzzle solving, a supremely impressive art style and soundtrack, and of course boss battles that will melt your face off. And in the case of Lux, the game's hidden final boss, it might also break your mind as well. Now after completing a rather large checklist of other items in order to unlock puzzle pieces, you'll finally be given the option to take on this alternate figure of Lux, your usual ally across 3 stages of utter hell. Now in each form, Lux presents a significant challenge in terms of their damage output, but in the second stage you'll have to contend with falling through an endless void of spiky blocks that you can only land on for a split second before they do damage to you, and in the third you'll be met with the biggest obstacle yet. Here Lux fires off waves of exploding orbs that knock you back into huge spikes that dominate the arena, and the only way to combat this is to use some sort of time-freezing power-ups, of which there's only limited uses, to kill the chain and clear the stage for a few seconds in order to fight back. It is a sweat-inducing test of your resource allocation and timing, but my god, is it a wild and fun ride. It is everything you want from like an optional super boss. Devastatingly deadly, amazing design, and a killer soundtrack to boot. And there we go, my friends. Those were 8 amazing recent video game boss battles that you have not beaten yet. Hope that you enjoyed that, and let me know what you thought about it down in the comments section below. Have you defeated any of these bosses? Let me know how you found them, and would you have put anything else in its place? I want to see some lesser known games down there, so go crazy, my friends. But if you want to chat to me in the meantime, you can go follow me over on my social media handles over here, where it is @RetroJ, but the O is a 0 on Instagram and Blue Sky, and you can follow my lovely editor Mark over here as well. But before I I go, my friends, I want to say one thing. Hope that you're treating yourself well with love and respect, my friend, because sometimes being negative to ourselves is the true final boss battle, and we need to kick it right up the arse. Start that day by reminding yourself that you are a big ledge and you deserve the good things in life, like love, happiness, and success. We all do as human beings, all right? So try to go out there with love in your heart for yourself and your neighbor, build bridges instead of burning them, and remember, above all else, it's going to be okay. You got this. As always, I've been Jules. You have been awesome. Never forget that. I'll speak to you soon. Bye.